A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. With the coming of evening, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us cross over to the other side." While leaving the crowd behind, they took him just as he was in the boat, and there were other boats with him. Then it began to blow a gale, and the waves were breaking into the boat so that it was almost swamped. He was in the stern, his head on the cushion, asleep. They woke him and said to him, "Master, do you not care? We are going down." And he woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Quiet now, be calm." And the wind dropped and all was calm again. Then he said to them, "Why are you so frightened? How is it that you have no faith?" They were filled with awe and said to one another, "Who can this be? Even the wind and the sea obey him." The Gospel of the Lord. So by our nice short but powerful reading for our 12th week of Ordinary Time. If you go out on a boat on the sea, are you going to expect it to be always calm? Of course not. Any sailor would expect bad weather. Any fisherman knows there's times when he's going to go out for his daily work and there's going to be storms. Storms happen. In our Gospel today, we hear Jesus who's out on a boat with his disciples. The Sea of Galilee is a large sea, and storms can brew up quickly. He's out there, the wind starts to pick up, the storm starts to blow. Waves are getting bigger, and it says the disciples said the boat is almost swamped. Jesus, what is he doing? He's asleep in the stern of the boat, head on a cushion, fast asleep. Waking them up, they're saying, "Don't you see the situation? Can't you see we can all go down together, you as well as us?" Jesus calms the sea, calms the waves. They're amazed at that, but his question to them is so important. Why are you so frightened? Why is it you have no faith? That's the thing we need to look at and think about. There's a big learning for us in this. Just like a sailor or fisherman will expect storms, in life there will be difficulties, there'll be trials, there'll be testings, there'll be hardships. You cannot have life without those things. Life is never always calm. These things can come at any moment. As Christians, we're called to have faith in Jesus, a living relationship with him. Do not ever think, obviously, that a living faith will immune us from difficulties, trials and testings in life. It doesn't happen. If we think that, we just simply have to grow up. It's not about, if I say the right amount of prayers, nothing bad will happen. It doesn't work like that. There's no simple formula. This thing of what life throws up. Today I was in Poole in St. Joseph's on the edges of our diocese, 125 miles away. Went up for the diaconate ordination of a man in his mid-30s. Today he gave his life to God, took the vow of celibacy, etc. In a year's time he'll be made a priest for our diocese. Does he know what life is going to throw at him? Does he know what lies ahead, what storms might be there? Of course he doesn't. But he's done this on faith, on trust. Jesus is with him no matter what. Last week would have been my parents' 70th wedding anniversary. Obviously they're both dead, but I've got a nice picture of them on their wedding day. Young people. Did they know what life had ahead of them? Of course they did. Did they know what storms were around the corner? Of course they did. This is where faith comes in. We know the Lord is with us. We know the Lord is with us in the boat when we have faith. So that's one thing, or the thing that is assured by faith. Jesus is in the boat of our life with us. Notice in the Gospel that when the disciples got overwhelmed and scared, they said the boat was almost swamped. But really, a boat is either swamped or not swamped. What does almost swamped look like? That was maybe about their perception, yeah, looking at things pessimistically, etc., their opinion on evaluating the situation. Do we notice this in our own lives? When storms brew up, when difficulties come, it's almost too much for us, or I'm at the end of my tether. You're not at the end of tether, you're near the end of your tether, or you're near breaking point. We use these phrases, don't we? But again, just like those disciples, are we seeing this in perspective? We're called to trust that bit more. I think a lovely example of this is St. Paul. As we know, he had a great faith in Jesus, didn't he? In an account in one of his writings, he said he was flogged 5 times. And that's not a simple flogging. In those days, that was a real hardship to bear. Beaten with sticks 3 times. Left dead by being stoned once. Somehow he recovered. Shipwrecked 3 times in the sea, and 1 time for 24 hours, and he got washed up on the shores of Malta. Nice place to get washed up on. But he wasn't daunted by things. He wasn't held back by fear. Because of his firm faith, he knew the Lord was with him in everything. So maybe it's good to almost turn this on its head, and when we see difficulties in life, to actually see them as positive testings of have we really got faith and trust in the Lord. When we feel that fear, that trigger of setting off fear within us, when we feel it in our stomach, etc., it's good to almost kind of get curious about it. Where's this coming from? How am I thinking about this situation, this problem at the moment? How am I looking at it in faith, or am I trying to do this under my own steam, under my own resources? We have to ask ourselves those questions. We need to dig deep in these times. And invariably, we can say, these are the times you have to dig deeper in your faith with Jesus. He's in your boat. He's in your life. And he's not asleep. He's with you. Now, I finished by this whole thing of fear. Obviously, we're still on our way coming out of COVID. Most people have the opportunity for vaccines, etc. if they want them. Then, common sense and prudence still have to abide. But people are coming out of things. Society's coming out of it, thank God. But there's still a massive amount of fear around. We have to let go of that fear. We have to see perspective on it. We have to, in a sense, look at our attitude to this. Are we kind of giving in to kind of a catastrophic thinking or whatever is holding us back? And so many people are suffering with this. We need to help each other. And I've said this before, but I think it's so vital. We help each other. We talk things up on this to help people get perspective. In this situation, as in all situations where fear becomes overriding, Jesus says to us, why are you so frightened? Why is it you have no faith? We've got to make sure that our faith and life are not separate, really do come together. And that with the Lord, He's always in us, in this boat of life, no matter what, there with us. Let us take comfort and strength from that. Thank you. God bless.